Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing. I'm here today to share with you the measurements of the cards that we did on World Card Making Day and National Coffee Day, which was October 1st, 2022. If you want to watch the live shenanigans, you can definitely watch the replay over on my Facebook page, Coffee, Cake, and Crafting. It was super fun, about 2.5 hours. A lot of chit-chatting, super fun time, but this is just going to be the tutorial for the cards. Some people asked me to do that, so I definitely will. Cards were really fun. I will show you my examples, and then what we made live. Okay, so card number 1 was this Z-fold card. So that was my sample. And what I made was a Nomi and his jammies, drinking an extra large coffee. Paper collection is from Scrappy Boy Stamps. It's the coffee collection. The fall cards are Cardabella. I can't remember which one it was. Alright, card number 2 is an easel card. This cut apart is Photoplay, The Daily Grind. I used 2 cut aparts from that collection, and the sticky notes came from Dollar Tree. But here's that card. So for this one, like I said, I did sticky notes, but for my sample, I used pictures. There's Pat, ready to go to sleep in his fall comfy blankies. These cards do fit in a regular size card envelope. The only thing with the easel is you're definitely going to have more postage because it's thicker than a 1/4 inch. But the one with just the pictures, you're good. Okay, third card, and it's going to be funny how different it looks just by adding a panel. It is a double Z fold. On this one, I chose to put my puppies and no panel. But on this one, it has a panel. So you can, put your message here if you want to mat it with white, or, you can mat this with white and put your message, or have extra pictures, or just stick it on your desk because it's funny. This would be really cute to kind of gift to someone. Maybe put a K-cup or something in there. That'd be really cute. And card number 4, another Z fold. And again, I did a picture with the writing spot to be here. But on the coffee one, we did the writing spot to be where the picture was. So just super fun full cards that it's the same paper that you would use for a regular card, with the exception of the double Z fold. You have an extra 2-inch strip of paper, but for the most part, it's the same. And they all fit in a regular size card envelope. This is the last one. This is a play and a gatefold from Simply Stamped Connie. A Simply Stamped something. I can't remember what it is right now. I think it's just Simply Stamped. But so this one just lays flat, and this one is all pictures. I think this would be really cute, like if you put it in a scrapbook, like a mini album, and you just have like your pictures. This is 3x5, so you can just throw your pictures in there. However, you cut them down, and you know what to do. But this would be super fun to have on a page of your mini. And the sample I actually tucked in the other panel. That was just a happy accident, to be honest, because I only glued a portion of the panel down. And so when I went to close it, it tucked in, and I was like, oh, I like that. But when I did it on live, I forgot to leave room to tuck it in. So either way, it looks great, and it lays flat. So there you go. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started with these. Card number 1 and 2 have the same measurements. Card number 3 and 4 have the same measurements. So you can choose to do 1 at a time, or you can do 2 at a time. I'm going to show you 1 at a time, but first I will quickly show you 2 at a time. I know that's confusing, but the measurements for card number 1 and card number 2 is 4 1/4 by 11, scored at, on the long side, 2 3/4 by 5.5. So if you want to do 2 cards at the same time with the same exact measurements, you're going to put your full 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper in your scoreboard or paper trim or whatever. You're going to go ahead and score it at the 2 3/4, and then you're going to go over to the 5.5, score that, and those are your 2 score lines. Now you're going to put the short side in the top, and you're going to cut it at 4 1/4. Okay, so you'll cut it at 4 1/4. That's how I made them all, because it was easier to get the two cards out of one sheet of paper if you only need one of each. Obviously, if you're making multiples of each, it's easy just to do all your scoring at the same time. But I'm going to show you in slow motion, one at a time, because we all have different learning curves, right? Okay, so again, the measurements are 4 1/4 by 11. So I just cut my paper at 4 1/4. I think I cut my paper at 4 1/4 because it should have been exact. Look at these bloopers. I did not even cut my paper right. 4 1/4. Okay, well, you know what? We're going to leave these bloopers in here because I don't feel like starting over. Okay. Cut it at 4 1/4. This time for real. Trick chill. Okay. 4 1/4 by 11. Okay. Now you're going to take your paper on the long side, so the 11-inch side. You're going to score it at 2 3/4 by scooch it over to 5.5. Okay. So 2 3/4 and 5.5. That's all the scoring you need to do for card number 1. So you see how card number 1 is a Z fold. So what we need to do is fold this piece over and then fold this piece backwards. So as you can see, all we did was make a standard card and then score that in the middle and fold it back. That's all we did. So you can do these with your paper trimmer or your scoreboard or whatever. Or if you don't feel like doing any of that, just fold your paper in half and then fold it in half again. That's it. Okay, so that's card number 1. We're done with that one. And then card number 2, our easel card. Again, it was those same measurements. So you need 4 1/4 by 11. And on the 11-inch side, we're going to score it at 2 3/4. And again at 5.5. Okay, so same exact measurements. 4 1/4 by 11. Scored on the long side at 2 3/4 and 5.5. Except this time, what we're going to do is fold our paper like a normal card. Make sure it's straight. And then we're going to take this extra score line and you're going to mountain fold it. Okay. So now you have your easel. Where's my easel card? There's my easel card. Okay, so see? Very simple stuff. Now, for your easel card, you do need to add something to this bottom panel to make it easel, right? So for my example, I popped up a postage stamp die. I popped it up on some foam. And then for this one, I used the Dollar Tree sticky notes. So you need something to get that tent fold. Okay. I mean, as you can see, it does kind of stand up by itself, but not, you know, it's kind of wobbly and wonky. So you do need something to kind of hold it. Okay. So that's those two cards. Now, what we need are cards number 3 and number 4. Again, 3 and 4 are the same exact measurements. Where's 3 and 4? The only difference is that card number 3 has an extra little panel. So we're going to work on that, okay? Card number 3, we need a piece of paper that is 8.5 by 5.5. So you're going to take your 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper, put the long side at the top of your paper trimmer, and you're going to cut it at 5.5. So that gives you your 8.5 by 5.5. Okay, so now you have the base for 2 cards. Okay, so we're only going to work on 1. Now what you're going to do is on the long side, so put the 8.5 inch side, the top of your paper trimmer or your scoreboard, and you're going to score it at 2 1/8. So 2 1/8, and again at 4 1/4. So 4 1/4. Again, what we're doing is folding that making a card in half, and then folding it in half again. Okay. I know y'all saw that I mismeasured, but that's fine. I don't know what is going on with me in 4 1/4, but the measurement is 4 1/4. I just did not do that right now. I don't know what I did. Here we go. There we go. Here's the right measurement. 4 1/4. So again, we just fold it in half and then fold it in half again. Okay. So for this one, what did I just do? Oh, our top panel needs to go to the left. So we just fold it to the left. That's all. So mine has an extra score line, but that's okay because I didn't score right. There we go. I'm not going to tell you the measurement that I did because it's going to confuse you. So just know that 4 1/4 is the correct measurement. That's just not what I did. So there's your Z fold again. Your top panel, you know, it's to the left. Now, for the bottom piece, to get the double Z fold, we're going to do the same thing. Actually, this was card number 4. The double Z is card number 4, but I don't think it matters. So for this, we need a piece of paper that's 2 inches by 8.5. So you can use your other base if you want to, or, you know, this is where you're going to pull out your scraps. To be honest, I'm going to pull out my scraps and get a 2-inch piece of paper by 8.5. So 2 inches by 8.5. If you're making multiple of these double Z folds, then just use 1/2 as your your 2-inch sections, or whatever makes sense to you. Okay, so on our 2-inch by 8.5 inch piece, we're going to do the exact same score lines. We're going to do it at 2 1/8 and 4 1/4. Okay, exact same score lines, 2 1/8 and 4 1/4. Now, see how the long panel is on the left and the 2 small panels are on the right. So let's go ahead and turn our panels to where the long panel is on the left. Now we know that needs to be this mountain fold, so go ahead and mountain fold, like so, and then you're just going to valley fold. So that way when you attach it, it looks like this. Now if you accidentally did it this way, guess what? Just flip it over until it looks right. Right? That's it. Just hopefully you haven't put your directional paper on it yet. So my comment when I was making this live was to not mat this until you attach it if you are using directional paper. Just so you know 100% that you're putting it in the right place, because you know how we do. We'll mat this over here and then realize that we matted it to go this way and it's upside down. So just kind of, it's easy because you can just pull your card flat and then just mat it like that. So, oh, look, that would even be a cute little pocket. But anyway, just, either mat it extra carefully, or with papers that it doesn't matter what the direction is, or really pay attention. All right, so that's what you're going to do. Remember, we had a regular Z-fold. You're going to mat your insides, and then you're going to put your panel on. Now, you can choose to mat all the way down to the bottom, which I did because it was just easier, especially on this side, because see, you have this blank space. So it's easier to do the whole measurement than try to figure out 2 inches less and blah, blah, blah. This one, I guess you could have done 2 inches less and saved some paper, but I mean, it's 2 inches. That's not going to make a break. This one you can't because you have this whole section that you can see. I don't like when things like paper bags settle when you're in the basement by yourself, because it just made me jump a mile. Yes, I'm a scaredy cat. I'm not embarrassed. Anyway, so just keep that in mind when you're doing your panels. And how you can attach it is you can either use your grid paper and just, measure out 2 inches and glue it. You can eyeball it, whatever you want. Okay, so there's that. So after you put your paper down, you're just going to attach the long panel like so, right? And then you're going to attach the short panel to the back like so. This, you only need glue on the left panel and the right panel. You're going to leave the middle unglued. If you accidentally get glue crazy and glue the middle, just don't press it down. It's fine. You're just gonna have to wait till it dries to have your Z-fold. So there's my Z-fold. Okay, now if you want to add a panel, you are absolutely more than welcome to. For instance, I added this extra panel here. Why? Because I liked it. Okay. You don't have to have a panel. It just gives it a little extra. Also, if you have the panel here, you can have a panel in here for the message if you would like. It's really up to you. Like, instead of having the pictures of your puppies where that white border is, you can write a message, and that panel will cover that message. You can do a full panel if you want, a quarter, you can do a little panel, a square, a circle, oval, whatever shape you want. That'd be super fun. All right, so that's those two cards. And the next card is the, and technically it was card number 3, but I did them out of order. Same measurements, it don't matter. This card here, another Z-fold. You're going to take a sheet of paper that is 5.5 by 8.5. So a half a sheet of paper of American cardstock. And on the 8.5 inch side, we're going to do 2 1/8 and 4 1/4. So 2 1/8 and 4 1/4. This time I think I measured correctly. We'll see. All right, so you're going to go ahead and fold like a normal card, right? Just fold it in half on that 4¼ score mark, but we need to pull the front back. So now we're just going to take this panel and fold it back. So again, fold that paper in half and fold it in half again. Right? Full sheet, fold, fold. That's it. This is where you're going to add your panel, if you so dare. My panel was, one of them was 4½ by 4½ and one was 3½ by 3½. So you can do whatever measurements you want. Here we go. And again, on the inside of this one, I left it so you can write your message. Now, before you add your front panel, what you want to do is go ahead and do your matting, however you're going to mat it, and then you need to go ahead and put this panel in and then this panel on top. So whatever size your inside panel is, it needs to be the exact same size on your outside panel, if that makes sense. It's so that way that panel is covering your message or your picture or whatever you have. I think on my prototype one, this one, so this one had a full panel on the front, and so you'd mat a full panel on the inside. But I didn't like the full panel, and so I cut them down to the size panel I wanted. And actually what dictated the size panel I wanted was this cut apart right here. So I wanted this cut apart, and I just made it this size. You could do this size, which I think was 3 3/4 by 5, which takes up pretty much the whole entire card. But that will give you a really big space to write in here. Or you can do I think this one was the 3½ by 3½. And then this one was the 4½ by 4½. I just like the square. I thought it was super cool. But you definitely want to do your inside panel size first. They need to be the same exact size for it to look nice, because obviously you don't want, you know, your inside panel to be, hold on. Okay, like this thing is like 3 by 5. So you don't want to have 3 by 5 inside and then 4½ by 4½ outside, because that just looks weird, right? So it's really weird. Okay, here's a better visual. You don't want the inside to be poking out. Looks weird. I mean, unless you wanted to. It's up to you. But there you go. To each his own, right? Alright, so that is the end of that card. These are super easy cards, guys. Alright, and the very last card, again, this play on a gatefold. Play on a gatefold. This one is this one's a little different. It's going to be a little bit smaller, and then it is backed on a regular card size panel. So you have to glue this part down onto it, like your card. So it's really optional. If you want it to be a full regular card side, then you need to add the back panel. If you don't mind that it's smaller than a regular card, then you don't have to add the back panel. Okay, that's up to you. So what you're going to do is cut your cardstock at 5 1/4 by 8 1/2. So you're just cutting your 8 1/2 by 11 sheet of paper in half. It's a little bit smaller. It's 5 1/4 by 8 1/2. And on the 8 1/2 side, you are going to score it at 1 3/4. And 5 3/4. Okay. There you go. And then because this is a gatefold, you're going to fold both score lines like so. Now you can choose if you want your small panel on the left or your small panel on the right. If you want your large panel to go on top, if you want your small panel to go on top, that is your choice, okay? So like I said, if you don't mind it being smaller than a regular card size, because this is a regular card size right here, and see, it's smaller. But if you don't mind that, then you don't have to do the next step. But if you want it to be a true card size, then you need to make another panel which goes on the back. You can do two-toned, which I did for these. I used this burnt orange color for the folded piece, and then I used a cream color for the back panel. This one I used the Early Espresso brown paper on top of tan paper. So it's up to you what you want. So your back panel is going to be 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. So you can use that sheet that you just cut off, and you are going to have to cut a little extra because, you know, we used 5 1/4, so there's more here. But this one is going to be 5 1/2 by 4 1/4. Okay. So then you glue it on top of it like this. Now you can use, don't throw this piece away, because you can use it to mat in your inside pieces. Like if you have this piece as your sentiment, like where you write, or you can put it in the middle. Obviously you're gonna have to cut it down, but you can put it in the middle, or you can use it for both sides of the on the flaps, or you can even use it on the cover here. So, you know, you're going to use one sheet of paper for this card. You can only get one card out of one sheet of paper for this fold, but I just really liked it, so I figured it was cool. So yeah, so go ahead. You can either glue now or wait to the end. I waited to the end. So now what you're going to do is make your panel whatever you want it to be. This one was the postage stamp die that I had. This panel was 2 3/4 by 4. So whatever shape you want, you can do a circle, an oval, a triangle, whatever shape you want. That's what you're going to do. Okay. Now this one, I glued it from the edge all the way to the edge of the flap. But this one, I didn't, like I was saying, I think I said it in the beginning, I don't know. I only put score tape, like 1/4 of an inch, and then I happy accident tucked it. I don't know, I thought that was cool. It tickled me, I really liked it. But this one, I forgot I was going to do that, and I, you know, didn't tuck it. I glued it from, you know, the edge to the edge. It still looks great. See how flat it is still? Because I varnished it really nicely. This one's going in a scrapbook, like a mini album. So, yeah. So you're going to decorate it. You're going to put whatever panel you want. Use your dies. Bring out your dies. This is just a little cut apart from the sticker. Actually, it's a sticker sheet. I did decorate the back of my panel. Just because I thought it looked kind of naked. So I did decorate it. This one I think I did too. I just added that little piece. So, super fun. Alright, so you're going to, you know, decorate this however you want. And then just glue it down to your panel in the middle. Like so. I'm not going to glue mine because I'm going to actually use these. So that's it, guys. That is the tutorial. Super duper slowed down. It definitely was not that slow in the chat, but I like to cater to all levels of crafting. So my very, very, very beginners can follow along, and my advanced people can fast forward and, you know, figure out you can do 2 cards on the same sheet. So, you know, we cater to everyone. We love everyone. Everyone had to start somewhere, so we're just going to be kind. But all right, guys, I hope you make these cards. Definitely check out Scrappy Boy stamps for the coffee paper, photo plate for the daily grind, Jaded Blossom for the gnome, and the coffee cup. This coffee cup does not come with the gnomes. That's the this die, the coffee dies. I used this one. No, I used this one. So, but the gnome does come with a coffee cup. It just is like a mug like that, and I wanted a sippy cup. And then Cartabella for these examples. Okay. All right, guys. Well, thanks for watching. Bye.